Okay, the next day, finished up making the 12AX7 test harness, and if you guys listened to the end of the last video, it sounded really fuzzy and really hard to manage. And that was because this little amp that I was using, it was way overpowered for this thing, but it also has a busted speaker, and didn't have any of this on the camera, but I could actually put my finger right there and it would clean it up and it would actually sound okay. So today what I've got, this is a Roland micro cube I picked up at a flea market. The preamp section is toast, so I took the input jack and I put it in the back here. It's an auxiliary input. I think they come this way automatically. So basically this is just a power amp driving a small speaker, and I've been experimenting around with this whole tube monstrosity, and it actually sounds pretty good. It is noisy, it does buzz a lot, but that's because there is like zero shielding in all this stuff. If there is shielding, it's there completely by mistake. And I'll show you some of the settings that I've found that sound pretty good. All right, stay tuned. All right, so here we are. I'm using the Ecolette tone block. It has a bass and treble and a volume control, and the bass knob is wired backwards. So this has got the volume all the way down. Treble is about at the 3 o'clock position, and the bass being upside down, that's also in about the 3 o'clock position. You have to stand on your head for that one. All right, so I have the microcube turned off right now because this is going to buzz like crazy. Now, in terms of the settings, before I go through this, I don't have any exact measurement. This will be about 122 microfarad coming off the cathode. This is probably about 50K coming into it. Don't have any coupling capacitors. This initial resistor is probably about 68K. This one is set to 0, and that one's up at the max at 1 meg. This is the path to feed that first grid. And up here, this is about 200K or so feeding the plate voltage. That output from the first stage comes through here, gives it a bass and treble and volume setting. Output from that goes into the second gain stage, and it goes through, that's basically the volume. It's going to go through, I don't know, you might be about 100K there. And I have a 390 picofarad treble bleed there to come around to the second grid. Cathode is set at about maybe 2K or so, and I've got the two lowest values on, so 1.2 microfarad, maybe about 168K on the plate. And this was a pretty good sound. I'm gonna let you guys hear this now. Characteristic buzz. Actually sounds pretty good. It's up about 3/4 of the way. If I turn it up all the way, it's kind of just more of the same. And this can change a lot depending on how you set all this stuff. If I change this it's not as loud. Similar with this plate voltage. If I really crank that resistance up, now I'm squeezing the voltage that part of the triode can function in. It's like clean for days. Not sure why anybody would want to have that much of a treble bleed going into the second stage, but you know, maybe. That actually sounds pretty good. That's all the way up too. Let's reverse these settings. So now I've got 1.2 microfarad on the first stage, same thing on the second. Now let's crank up it on the second stage. So now I'm focusing on the high end for this first guy. So amplifying the heck out of the high frequencies, dropping off the lows, and then we'll kind of reverse these. And I'm trying to boost the lower frequencies. There, that's like straight in. This is the exact opposite. That's 100% bass, 0 treble, volume up all the way. Pretty much sounds like it's got a quilt over the speaker. I know you may be thinking, oh, that's just the tone doing that. Not really, that's the amp. This has been invaluable, proven to me right away. Some of the design choices that were made, like in the Dumble amps, having these treble bleed capacitors and having this resistor and a capacitor in parallel feeding into the grid. There's something magical about that. Also, there seems to be something magical about having a much more constrained or having a whole lot more headroom in this second gain stage as compared to the first one. It's like you want all of the grit and the dirt. All right, so total success, I would think. I need to make it more quiet, and I eventually will. So until then, see you guys later. Had fun here in the Mad Scientist Lab. Later.